Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castro.
Hoy, welcome back! Wow!
Wow, ngayon masaya ka na.
Yun naman tayo. Oy guys, welcome back to Brunch Wednesday. Nako.
Apaka-traffic.
Napaka-traffic.
Pero buti na lang, naamoy ko na ngayon
2
yung ating
hours
ano.
and 30 minutes in traffic from Quezon City to Mandaluyong.
Pero buti na lang naamoy ko na nga itong
Pampagood mood yan.
Pampagood.
Cream puff po ng Second Mile Coffee. And of course, ang kape ko from Second Mile Coffee.
Dami tayong pag-uusapan
Oy, oo.
ngayon. May mga nag-iinit ang ulo. Sa gabi pa. Gusto mo makipagsuntukan. Gusto mo. Alam nyo ba pinag-uusapan namin?
Alam nyo ba yan?
Mamaya, abangan
Viral
nyo
yan kagabi. Nako. Sige, okay. We're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Now let's start off our countdown with a viral video. The daughter of TV personality Kim Atienza broke her silence about her controversial Guess the Bill video. Emmanuel Atienza posted a video of her friends guessing their dinner bill at a restaurant. The bill revealed that they spent over 130,000 pesos for their dinner. Atienza and her friends received backlash for their lavish and expensive dinner. In response, the so-called internet's favorite Nepo Baby said the video was a joke and it was their agency that paid the bill. Atienza also insisted that they have the right to decide what to do with their money.
Hindi ko napanood yung video eh.
Well,
pero nakikita ko, nagtitrending nga siya, pinag-uusapan yung issue na yan, na sa kabila daw ng mga maraming nagugutom, naghihirap, parang very insensitive daw to post something like that, na 130,000 for a dinner. Yan ang sinasabi.
Ngayon, kung malaking event yan among the artists and the group, tapos the agency will pay for it, that's okay naman yan. Kasi that's their, in essence naman, that's their money. Ang issue naman dan, she's right na it's their money, they can do what they want with it. Huwag nyo na lang i-display online. Di ba? Keep it to
sensitivity lang.
Keep it to yourself na lang because you have families who are struggling to spend 15 to 20,000 in a month. For an entire family, isisiksik mo na ang transpo, education, pang-ayos ng bahay, pang-allowance si baby, sapatos, tuition, di ba? Kaya okay lang naman, sige, pera nyo yan. Pero, di ba, huwag nyo na lang i-display. Kasi nung unang panahon naman, walang social media. Kung yung mga dinner ganyan, we didn't have to display
Actually,
it.
this is not the first time na nag-trending itong anak niya.
Oh, kasi napalayas ata siya, yung homeless.
Oo, yung
issue.
sa school nila.
School,
sabi niya homeless daw siya. Pero nagkaroon ng mga articles after that, nung sinabi niya na hindi naman siya homeless kasi napakayaman nga daw nila kung saan na siya pumunta, nag-around the world na country. Pero yung issue kasi for context, kasi sumali siya dun sa mga protests against yung nangyayaring conflict ngayon, no? Yung Hamas at saka, Israel at saka Palestine.
Pero naman,
Anyway.
yung mga sinasabi nila about sila Kim, di ba, na si Kim Atienza works hard for his money. So, wag nilang sabihin na Kim mismo was born rich. They were born with benefits in life, pero he worked hard for his own money. So, wala silang masasabi about his character.
Alam mo naman ngayon sa social media, lahat naman talaga pinakikialaman eh. Sige, ito, mas maganda pakialaman natin itong next issue na to. Next in our countdown is rice prices. The Agriculture Department expects lower prices of rice in the coming months. DA Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel says rice prices will start to go down by October, but its full effect will be felt by the public by January next year. This comes after the move of the government to reduce tariff on imported rice products. According to Laurel, rice prices may be slashed by around 5 to 7 pesos per kilo.
The DA's estimates are by mid-October, dapat pababa na yan slowly, no? But the full effect should be felt by January of 2025. Okay. Marami pa tayong stocks yung stocks na imported na nabili ng mahal, paubos na.
Yung balikan ko lang yung issue na yan, yung tungkol dyan sa rice na yan, kasi as of now, yung mga 888 containers of nearly 500,000 sacks of rice ang nakatenga pa rin doon sa anong tawag ng Port Manila International Container Terminal.
Along with other goods pala na titignan nila sa past. Madaming goods pala na iipit.
So ngayon sinasabi nila, kasalanan daw ng importers, they're trying to hold it daw para daw makita nila yung
Hoarding.
Yung mala 'di ba? Yung ang tawag dito nakalimutan ko na yung labanan
Manipulate. Para
labanan sa
manipulate yung
presyo.
presyo.
Yes. So, yun ang sinasabi na. Pero kasi ang ports pala, meron silang 5 days na free na binibigay sa mga...
And in excess kasi you have to pay a rental fee.
Yes.
Oo.
Within 5 days, hindi mo pa makuha yun. You have to pay rental fee, which is, I think, 700 per day, if I'm not mistaken. So, sinasabi nila, bakit naman i-hold ng importers yung kanilang mga goods sa port, 'di ba? Sabi nila na sila naman yung gagastos, 'di ba? So,
I guess siguro kasi i-compute nila yung price when they hold the volume of rice coming in, bumababa yung supply. Pag bumababa yung supply, tataas yung demand. Pag pumalo yung peak demand, then they could demand pwede nila ilabas yun sa merkado and sell it at a way higher price. Sabi mo from 52, bebenta nila sa 60 to 65 yan. Pag pumalo sa market yan, nasa 70 yan. Mas lalo na kung yung imported variant na magaganda. Yung, di ba, yung well-milled rice, mga Vietnamese rice.
Kaya sinasabi nila, isa yan sa mga, I think, nagiging dahilan din ng mga pagtaas ang presyo ng bigas natin. Dahil yung stocks mo, iniipit mo dyan eh. 'Di ba? So, dapat ayusin nila kasi napakarami, no? 888 containers, hindi half million rice sacks yung nakatenga dyan. So, kaya kailangan ayusin nila. Kasi nakakainis yung ginagawa nila eh, di ba?
Yes. Okay, may pag-uusapan pa tayo, ha? The Agriculture Department aims to vaccinate more pigs against African swine fever before 2025. They also expressed hope that the Vietnam-made vaccine is effective so hog raisers can start investing again. Mobile Journal, Julie Baisa with the report.
Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel expressed hope that the government would complete the procurement of 600,000 doses of African swine fever or ASF vaccine before the year ends.
The schedule for the award for the next 450,000 doses is October 10, of which we will take delivery of 150,000 doses by then. But we hope to complete the procurement of 600,000 doses by end of December this year.
The vaccination for the first 10,000 doses will be finished by end of the month. It was in August when the government started the controlled trial of the Vietnam-made ASF vaccine in Lobo, Batangas, considered as the ground zero of the ASF outbreak. Meanwhile, the DA is hoping that the ASF vaccine will be effective so the hog raisers and backyard farmers would start investing again.
Hopefully, everything will be implemented on schedule and sana next year puro repopulating na lang tayo at tuloy-tuloy na yung paglaki babalik yung population ng ating baboy to about 14 million heads from ngayon nasa 7.5 million heads lang ang baboy na estimate natin. So, yun.
Despite this, the agency is not expecting for an increase on the prices of pork products.
Ang mga magbababoy habang wala pa yung vaccine, gusto nilang magbenta at magkatay eh. No? So we expect na hindi tataas ang presyo ng baboy. Although demand masyado sa Pasko dahil tuloy-tuloy pa eh ang pag-grow at gusto nilang katayin na kaagad yung baboy para nga malesen yung risk nila eh. So, but of course, demand in December is usually double, no? Mataas. So, baka tumaas ng konti pero hindi naman siguro significant.
Tiu Laurel assured the public that the government is closely monitoring the food inflation. He mentioned that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is monitoring this weekly and they are continuously looking for ways to stabilize the prices of commodities.
A lot of investments are now being made, no, for post-harvest like cold storages and rice processing systems that will help lower the price of goods sa consumers but increase farmer income. So,
Mobile Journal Julie Baiza, we are One News.
All right, let's move on to the next. Arriving at the 8th spot is about the Escoda Shoal, a record high number of 11. Yes, you heard it, 11 Chinese warships were seen meandering near the vicinity of Sabina or Escoda Shoal. The Philippine Navy said the Chinese vessel's show of force near the disputed territory came a day after BRP Teresa Magbanwa left the area. The number of Chinese ships crowding Escoda Shoal is now at 82. The National Maritime Council said the vessel that will replace BRP Teresa Magbanwa is sailing right now to Escoda Shoal. Paano kaya abot tong vessel na to sa Escoda Shoal? No? Kasi kung
Although marami kasing entry-exit points dyan
madami,
sa
but you
area
have
na yun.
82 nakakalat all over the shoal. Malamang knowing the way yung tactics ng Chinese Navy and yung Coast Guard, malamang each area yan, each entry-exit may nakamanman yan.
Oo.
Habulan na naman yan on the way
Kaya nga
to
di
that
ba
area.
ang parang pinaka naging sinasabi ng tao nga dito, dapat bago muna pinaalis si Teresa Magbanwa, meron na kaagad na kapalit. Ang problema nga
Dapat
ngayon,
tinabihan kahit dalawa sila nandun.
Oo. Kaya nga sabi nila, ano pang magagawa natin? Even yung resupply missions natin, hindi natin magawang matapos makumpleto. Yung pa kayang papalit dun sa Teresa Magbanwa, paano nila
And siguro,
mapoposition yun
And siguro BRP Teresa Magbanwa needed to leave na talaga, hindi na makaantay.
Yes, oo.
Kasi,
Of course, kawawa naman yung
Hindi,
mga
kita mo yung
sundalo
nangyari,
natin,
ha? The moment-
umiinom na ng tubig ng aircon.
Hindi, the moment na nagtumama ng port yung Teresa Magbanwa, yung personnel from the boat, naka-stretcher na. At nakaswero. That means matagal na sila nagde-deteriorate yung health. Delikado yan.
Totoo.
Anyway,
So we really need to protect yung area na yan because importante din yan dahil yung proximity niya malapit sa,
Yes.
sa recto yung reed bank na
That's
marami
right.
rich in oil. 'Di ba? So paano natin gagawin yan? So let's see kung makakapasok pa dyan ngayon. Lalo na ngayon na nag-i-increase yung presence ng Chinese
82.
vessel doon.
82 vessels.
Alright, maiba muna po tayo ng balita. Mas lalo pang pinaigting ng San Juan LGU ang kanilang pagbabawal sa pagsiswimming sa baha. Ito ay isa sa kanilang hakbang para pigilan ang pagdami ng kaso ng leptospirosis. Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal, Francis Orsio.
Hindi mapigilan ng iba na idaan sa swimming ang yamot kapag baha sa kanilang lugar. Pero dahil sa kaakibat niyang peligro, sa San Juan City, ipinagbabawal na yan. Kasagsagan ng bagyong Karina at pinalakas na habagat nang muling makaranas ang Metro Manila at iba pang probinsya ng malawakang pagbaha. Kasunod niyan, ang pagtaas din ng kaso ng leptospirosis. Bukod sa hindi man kagustuhan ng marami na lumusong, meron din kasi talagang sinasadya ng mag-swimming sa baha. Kaya sa San Juan City, ipinatupad ang isang ordinansa kung saan papatawan ng multa ang sinumang maglalaro sa baha. Mula 500 hanggang 1,000 pesos. Ang residenteng si Tatay Edward, sang-ayon dito, pero huwag na raw sanang maningil ng multa.
Ordinansa okay lang, pero wala nang multa. Sawayin lang. Asawayin lang yun. Yun na yun. Parang isipin mo tuloy, pagkakita mo pa yan eh.
Sa pinakahuling tala ng Department of Health, aabot na sa mahigit 4,500 ang kabuuang kaso ng leptospirosis sa bansa as of September 7, habang halos 400 na ang nasawi dahil sa sakit. Una nang sinabi ng DOH na nakukuha ang sakit na leptospirosis sa tubig baha na kontaminado ng ihi o dumi ng infected na mga hayop gaya ng daga. Dito inirekomenda ng ahensya sa Metro Manila Council na ipagbawal ang pagtatampisaw sa maruming tubig. Kaya bago pa ang ordinansa ng San Juan, una nang naglabas ang Metropolitan Manila Development Authority o MMDA ng regulasyon na ipagbawal ang paglangoy dito.
Sa larangan ng public health, maraming paraan para mapakilos ang sambayanan ukol sa kanilang kalusugan. Yang ordinansa ng San Juan ay isa lamang sa mga paraan. So it is really up to the local government sa nakikita niyang tatalab sa kanilang lugar.
Hiling naman ng Metro Manila Council sa ilang LGU magpatupad ng ordinansa tulad ng ginawa ng San Juan. Sa ngayon, hindi raw inaalis ng DOH ang posibilidad na lalo pang tumaas ang kaso ng leptospirosis. Lalo na't malapit nang mag-umpisa ang nagbabadyang La Nina. Isa pang hiling ng DOH, tingnan ng LGUs ang kanilang solid waste management.
Tignan natin ang tubig baha bilang isang maduming bagay. Hindi dapat lumulusong, hindi dapat pumupunta. Tandaan, ang incubation period ng leptospirosis ay matagal. Kaya kahit wala tayong nararamdaman, basta tayo ay napalusong sa baha, anuman ang dahilan, kumonsulta lagi sa isang health center.
Bukod sa mga ipinatutupad na patakaran ng otoridad, simulan din natin ang disiplina sa ating sarili. Dahil kalusugan din natin ang maapektuhan sa ating mga ginagawa ngayon. Mobile journalist Francis Orsio po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
Ako, I agree with that banning. It's just that pag-igihan nila yung guidelines, implementing
Implementation.
rules. It's because ano ba definition mo ng swimming? Kasi baka naman may mga instances sa mga area na yan, kailangan tumawid yung mga tao, pagkamalan sila swimming, so discretion ng
LGU,
arresting officer or barangay sa LGU. Baka, nagsiswimming ka, di ba? Baka maging source of corruption yan. So, I agree with it. You have to enforce laws like this to keep people safe. Pero at the same time,
ayusin lang yung implementation.
yung guidelines, ayusin nyo lang yung guidelines, di ba?
Kasi otherwise, makakagulo sila.
Huwag nyo lalagyan ng gray area yung rules na bawal mag-swimming. Hindi, define mo ano yung swimming. Di ba?
Siguro naman yung yung kung pag naglalakad ka lang sa baha, pwede na yun. Kasi
Hindi.
kunyari, you have to go to another
Yes,
side of the road.
Hindi, for example, may nalaglag kang bagay doon sa baha, paalis ka. Yung mga ibang tao, makikita mo, nagda-dive sila just to get it eh. Baka biglang pag natsambahan sila ng...
Pero yung nakita natin sa may Quezon Avenue, EDSA, di ba? Yung
Ay, iba
talaga
yun.
Yun yung swimming. Yun
Yung
ang
sa may
definition
Manila,
ng
sa may
swimming.
Manila underpass.
Na unnecessary na paglubog sa tubig ba?
Yung nag-dive sila from the flyover into the
Right.
water, parang swimming pool. Tapos yung iba, may nagiinuman pa. Naka-wade sa water. Wag naman ganun.
Alright, coming up. Former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque is now facing a disbarment complaint for sharing a supposed fake video of President Marcos.
And dismissed Mayor Alice Guo claims that she's just a victim and not the mastermind of illegal pogos. If so, who's the most guilty?
Victim po ako, Your Honor. Yun ang sabi.
Yan na.
Oo. Tingnan natin kung ano ba yung pinag-usapan nila sa executive
Executive
session. May nasabi ba siyang maayos doon? Fruitful ba yung naging executive session nila? Pero ang alam ko, may mas fruitful ba yon o mas kontrobersiya na nangyari kagabi sa Senate? Naku, abangan niyo po yan. Pag-uusapan namin, papakita namin yung video. We are just getting started, mga kapatid. Bakit?
Natawa sa sariling joke.
Hindi naman joke yun eh.
Ah.
Diba? We're just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news and brunch returns. Keep it here on What News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Ngayon po ay Wednesday.
And we
September
have some greetings
25.
here on Facebook. Now let's start off, of course, with Mig Zebron. Hello daw,
Hello,
Brunchies. And Ralph Domingo said, brunch muna bago lakwatsa. 91 days till it's brunchmas.
Ah, my God.
91 days. Ito pa, meron tayong comment from Cecil Samaniego, of course. Good day daw sa atin lahat. Si Nestor Salas Jr., ilang buwan na daw sinasabi yung pagbababa ng presyo, magpapasko na lang, hindi pa nagbababa ata. Yun ang ibig sabihin.
Anong bigas?
Ito, si Ramil Moyo Kindo. Buy first local produce before importation.
Dapat daw ipagbawal sa San Juan yung
Ito naman, okay.
pag ano daw ng
kay Ipsum, Nosche Ipsum. Yung ba yan?
Basaan daw sa
Oo.
Basaan sa fiesta dyan sa San Juan. Ito
Kasi
ipagbawal.
tubig kanal daw din ginagamit minsan sa mga water gun eh.
Teka muna, basahin ko lang din itong nasa YouTube natin. Siyempre si Geraldine Balolo. Ayan, good morning sa'yo. Si Leonie Valdesoto. At saka si Ronald Maxtay, LBJ. Aba, Julius Manalo,
LBJ?
John Beam. LBJ naman.
Baka yan ang initials ni LeBron James.
John Beam at saka si Gary Go. Welcome back daw sa akin. At saka si Sam Pokemon Go, si Gary Field. Sino pa ba? Si Ralph Domingo.
Meron na dito, binasa ko yung
Mina
niya.
Benales, VJ, si Vladimir, and of course si Ate Ringo. Si Tita Daisy and Tito Naldi Cancio.
Good
lagi
morning!
nanonood sa atin. At saka Tito Jessie Mendez.
Happy birthday!
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Bilang Pilipino, bilang Pilipino.
Now on our top 7, the COMELEC will post all certificates of candidacy on its website. Chairperson George Garcia says this is for the public to be informed about the candidates. This would also ensure that people vying for positions are indeed citizens of the country. The filing of COCs for next year's midterm elections will be held from October 1 to 8.
Yan, gusto ko yan.
Aid of transparency.
Dapat lang, di ba, it's just like buying a product, nakikita mo yung produkto mo sa website.
Yes.
At least nandyan na. And fair to sa mga candidates na magagaling naman na wala masyadong pera mag-campaign.
Tsaka para malaman nila agad, ito pala yung sa bayan namin. Kasi aminin man natin o hindi, nag-stem itong mga ganitong hakbang na to, na guidelines na to, dahil dun sa nangyayari ngayon, yung sa Alice Go case.
Yeah.
'Di ba, yung mga misrepresentation. Although sa camp of course pa rin, at for the sake of fairness, sa camp nila Alice Go, syempre they're still denying yung mga accusations sa kanya. Pero eto nga, 'di ba, dahil baka daw may mga misrepresentation na nangyari.
Hindi, tsaka-
And not just Alice Go, sabi ni Comelec Chairman George Garcia, there are still 5 other candidates na maaaring makasuhan ng misrepresentation.
Hindi, but aside from that, we're talking about yung election. It also gives them an equal playing field.
Yeah.
Kasi yung pangalan ng mga candidates, they're already on the ballots naman eh. Diba? If they're on the ballots, why not put it on the website? Para, di ba, kunwari, magaling ka naman na candidate, tatakbo ka, pero you don't have as much money as sa mga kalaban mo. At least dito, kung na-promote nila yung website na maayos, yung mga voters like us, so, if we do our due diligence, pwede natin i-check sa website. Sino ba nasa area ko? Sino mayor ko? Sino congressman ko? Sino yung mga senador na tatakbo? Tignan ko nga. Diba? At least may
Kaya lang
access
kasi
na.
ang problema lang dyan, although maganda yung hakbang na, ang problema lang kasi there are still, marami pa rin, there are still many of places here in the country, yung mga rural areas, far-flung areas na walang access sa kuryente at saka yan sa mga internet. So, hindi din nila makikita yan.
Yeah, pero at least majority of the voters, where the bulk of votes will come. Yung mga sinasabi mo sa rural areas na away from civil life. Akala mo during election, hinahakot ng mga politiko yun, dinadala nila sa
Yun
city.
na nga ang problema
Pinapasquat
kasi,
doon, and after election, babalik na naman sila sa bahay
problema, 'di ba? Alam naman natin kung ano yung mga gawain nila. Pero let's not talk about it na muna. Pero yun, okay.
Sa talk
naman.
about it,
Bakit?
we're media, we should talk about
This
it.
let's talk about it. Go.
Tapos na. Okay.
Hindi, 'di ba, kasi usually nga, 'di ba, yung mga kababayan natin doon, hindi sila masyado aware
Yeah,
dun sa
they're
mga
not.
nangyayari dito. O either that, mabilis silang masway dahil nga wala naman silang
Gutom eh.
Oo, 'di ba? Kung ano
Gutom
lang
ka eh.
yung magsosolve for the day nila, yun ang kakagatin nila. But yun na nga. Alright, so magandang hakbang yan para sa Comelec, and hopefully, wag nilang kakalimutan hanggang September 30 na lang ang voters registration. Tapos ang certificate of filing naman filing of certificate of candidacy ay sa October.
Yeah.
Bawal na ngayon yung mga switching ha. Hindi na yan pwede. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
On the sixth spot is about Vice President Sara Duterte. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes revealed that a lawmaker is planning to file an impeachment complaint against the Vice President. In an interview with Storycon, Trillanes said he is currently in talks with a lawmaker about filing the complaint. He did not disclose the identity of the House representative. House Committee Vice Chair Representative Jill Bongalon earlier told the Vice President to consider stepping down from her post. This is after the Vice President snubbed the House hearing on her office's proposed budget for next year.
Meron ba kayong seryosong kausap sa Kongreso para mag-sponsor ng impeachment complaint?
Meron po. Just a matter of kaya nga siya pumupunta, kaya nga siya naghahanap ng kakampi. 8 years na namin, binapakpakan itong pamilya na ito na salot sa lipunan natin. Tapos ngayon pa, masasanitize.
Nako, ramdam ko yung galit ni
Alam mo-
former Senator Trillanes.
Alam mo yung sinasabi niya na 8 years, from the start kasi pre-election pa lang, naalala mo yung issue ni PRRD, yung sa BPI bank account sa pinuntirya na ni Senator Trillanes. Doon nagsimula yung hidwaan ng dalawang kampo na yan. Pero there were several congressmen who were saying na yung ginawa kasi ni VP Sara by snubbing them, parang it's a betrayal daw of public trust.
Kasi dapat daw talaga,
But-
'di ba, pinag-uusapan, nagkakaroon talaga ng deliberation sa budget.
Oo.
Pero ngayon, 'di ba, sinabi naman ni Vice President Sara Duterte, bala na kayo. kung magkano ibibigay nyo sa amin, we can work on any budget that you can provide us. Kaya hindi na siya, feeling niya kasi napupolitika lang daw siya kung pupunta siya dun sa mga budget deliberation. So ngayon, makikita natin yung tapang ng Congress. Magkano bibigay nyo talaga? After na may plenary debates pa yan, kung talagang yan ang ibibigay nyo.
Aabot pa sa Senate yan. Kaya siguro may tumatugtog ba na yung SP ouster, yung supposed chismis.
Oo.
Di ba? Kay SP Cheese.
Yung coup plot.
Yung coup plot. Kaya ba umiigting to dahil sa aabot sa Senate siyempre yung budget.
At dahil sinabi mo yan, yan ang kasunod sa ating countdown for today. Entering our top 5 is Senate President Cheese Escudero. He brushed off rumors of a brewing coup against him. Escudero said such rumors are just part of being a politician. He said the coup rumors will not affect his work as the Senate President. Escudero replaced Senator Mig Zubiri 4 months ago after he was ousted by his fellow senators.
Oo.
Okay. Alam mo, dati, bago mapalitan si Senator Mig Zubiri, mga ilang months din yung coup attempt na naririnig natin. Yung
Actually,
coup
every Senate President naman makakarinig ka ng coup attempt, coup plot to oust.
Pag hindi nagugustuhan, hindi nasuserve yung gusto nila, ay palitan ng ating leader.
And you have to remember, they're approaching a critical part sa Congress kasi magkakaroon na ng elections.
Exactly.
Aside from that, our elections, you have the budget na kailangan ipasa na. Oo, di ba? Kasi kung mag-deadlock ang Congress, pwede mag-partial shutdown ng government.
Ang aga naman ito kay Senator Cheese Escudero, 4 months.
Yeah,
diba?
alam naman natin where there are
meron na kaagad na coup rumors.
alam naman natin where there are rumors, there's possibilities. Kay Senator, when si SP Mig Zubiri was still Senate President, there were
sabi
rumors.
ni Senator Jinggoy nun?
Multiple-
Hindi sinusuportahan ko si Senator Mig Zubiri.
May multiple rumors at that time.
Ngayon din siya din nagsasalita.
Diba, si Senator Migs may multiple rumors, tapos hindi natuloy yung una.
Oo
Tapos
nga.
yung pangalawa, hindi rin daw totoo, pero natuloy na.
Kaya nga. So the last time, Senator Jinggoy was interviewed regarding coup rumors against Senator Mig Zubiri, sabi niya hindi. Tapos ngayon naman, pero nagkatotoo in the long run. Ngayon naman, in-interview siya ulit yesterday, sinabi niya hindi.
Pwede naman-
Support Senate President Cheese Escudero.
Hindi, pwede naman at that time he was asked, totoo yun. Kasi ang pwede nangyayari dito, I'm saying, ang pwede nangyayari dito, there might be dissent. There might be dissent among the ranks sa Senate. And a senator told a friend told another friend. Kaya kumalat, oy, napipiko na sila. Di ba? May
Pero
ganun
grabe,
pwede.
no?
Di ba?
House of Cards talaga eh.
That's why ako, kunyari ikaw, senador ka, parang mga iba ayaw mag-SP eh.
Oo.
Because,
Bigyan niyo na lang siya ng magandang committee para
Blue
bida-bida
Ribbon,
siya.
di ba? Yung budget committee, Ways and
Totoo.
Means, yan
Pero
magaganda.
grabe no, nasasayang lang yung pera natin sa mga ganitong ginagawa nila na every time na hindi magsuserve yung gusto nilang purpose, palitan yung leader. Diba? So walang stability, tapos hindi na nakaka-focus yung mga senador natin sa mga dapat nilang
Ika nga, they
gawin.
said that's part of a democratic process.
House of Cards, Game of Thrones. But for the meantime, let's continue with our countdown.
Coming in at the fourth spot, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the disbarment complaint against him is, quote, a desperate act of attention. Now, here's the report.
Aside from an arrest order from Congress, former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque is now also facing a disbarment case. That was filed by former acting cabinet secretary attorney Melvin Matibag. In an interview with A Big Story, Matibag explained that he did this to protect their legal profession.
You will look at it. Abogado ka eh, magaling ka na lawyer. Then you will come out with a pronouncement na hindi naman validated or worse is kung ginawa mo pa to, pineke mo.
According to Matibag, the disbarment case stems from Roque's social media post, including a deepfake video of President Bongbong Marcos supposedly using drugs. Roque earlier denied that he was the source of the video.
It doesn't matter whether he is the original na nag-post or kung siya yung gumawa, but it looks like siya yung una nag-claim niyan eh.
In response, Roque called the complaint against him a desperate act of attention. He added that the authenticity and the content of the video deserve widespread discussion. Roque also noted that posting it on social media is protected by his right to free speech.
Sabi niya kasi kailangan daw malaman ng tao. Yes, but they will also have a responsibility as he is a lawyer. He has a responsibility to make sure na any information that comes from him is vetted
Kasi
and
parang
verified.
AI, di ba? AI generated yung
Tsaka alam mo naman,
deepfake pala.
kung regular person and you wanna share something like that and you caption it with a joke, baka pwede pang pag-usapan yan. Pero he is a lawyer, he was a former government official, and you're posting something and claiming na itong presidente nyo, ito ang presidente nyo, parang ganun ang messaging niya. So, that is very unbecoming daw of a lawyer, di ba? So, di ba nga ang mga attorney, mga lawyer, they're beholden by very strict and stringent rules.
Meron silang morality clause.
Oo.
If you can remember, there's a certain lawyer here na disbar siya dahil meron siyang kabit. Bawal yun, di ba? Meron. Yun. Itong si former spokesperson, Atty. Harry Roque, sabi niya, meron daw siyang source sa loob ng House of Representatives. Of course, di niya sinabi kung sino, na talagang he was being targeted by these people because of this video that he released, yung tungkol nga kay
Well, if you're being targeted,
Pangulong
I
Bongbong
don't doubt that.
Marcos.
You're being targeted kasi you're on the other side of the political fence. Pero why did you give them ammo? Ba't mo binigyan ng bala para i-target ka? Dapat malinis ang ginagawa mo. And in the first place, whether you're targeted or not, you're not supposed to be endorsing, even being near videos like that. Diba? You have to uphold the highest character more. Dapat you have to have the highest form of integrity in your profession.
Kaya ano nga yung nila na ang nakakagulat lang dito kasi ang nag-file ng disbarment case is
Magkasama yan.
Attorney
Oo.
Matibag, which is magkasama sila before under
Cabsec ata si attorney, di
yes,
ba?
former cabinet secretary.
And we all know si...
Under Duterte administration.
Yeah. At Attorney Harry Roque, former spokesperson.
Yeah, oo. So, wala na siya sa PDP laban ngayon si Attorney Matibag.
Yeah.
Wala na siya. Tapos yung asawa naman niya, parang recently nanumpa sa Lakas. So, dating magkakampi, working under under Duterte administration, ngayon nag-aaway na. Pero yun nga, supposedly ang disbarment case ay confidential. Kaya
Yeah.
hindi daw niya masyado mailabas lahat ng mga details of the case, pero one of which lang daw itong pag-post ng video, supposedly deepfake video ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. So abangan natin kasi marami talagang mga issue ang pinupukol against sa former spokesperson Atty. Harry Roque. Siya ba ay magpapakita na finally? But then again, his daughter filed a writ of amparo case against para mapigilan nga ang House of Representatives na siya ay makompel to attend the ongoing Quadcom hearing. At aabangan pa natin yung mga susunod na kabanata. Diba?
Okay. Don't go away because we're not done yet.
May tatlo pa. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on 1G. Kakakain ko lang. Ano nakakatawa doon? Alam mo lang kakamali. Gusto
Tayo na lang mag-away. Gusto mo?
I-disbar kita eh. I-disbar
Ay, disbar mo sa akin. Well, ako lawyer.
Welcome back to One News. Madami pa tayong
Ayusin mo
pag-uusapan.
yan.
We are joined by Second Mile Coffee.
Yes, yung cream puff nila.
And
ang
their
ating,
coffee.
Favorite comfort food.
Oo.
Si Cecil Samaniego from Facebook nanonood daw sa atin.
Hoy, good morning! Good morning sa lahat ng viewers natin,
Ramil
mga loyal
Moyo.
viewers. Oo, may mga nakita akong name sa live stream na mga bagong name.
Nga.
Oo, pero mainit ang ulo sa mga topic. So, tsaka na natin
Kalma lang,
yun.
kalma lang. Okay. Sige, Diego.
Let's go. Okay, before we go back to our countdown, let's talk about this. The lower chamber has approved the bill granting Meralco. Yan, nakita ko to. Another 25 years of franchise on second reading. If House Bill 10926 is signed into law, the power distributor is expected to supply electricity to its customers in an affordable manner. The bill also requires Meralco to establish a platform for consumer concerns and complaints. The present franchise of Meralco is set to expire on 2028. Meralco and One News under Signal are part of the MVP group of companies.
Yan. 25 more years and counting. Diba? All right, let's go straight to our countdown. The Senate lifts the contempt citation against Alice Go's purported sister Sheila. Senator Risa Ontiveros made the announcement during the last hearing on POGOs yesterday. Sheila has been detained in the Senate due to her failure to attend the earlier hearings. She claims almost no concrete knowledge on many criminal activities. However, Sheila, together with Alice and many others, are facing money laundering raps.
Sheila Guo, the Senate's contempt order on you is lifted. And I direct the OSAA to transfer your custody to the Bureau of Immigration, pursuant to the mission order issued by the Bureau against you.
Ayun.
Yun na.
Kasi noon naman talaga kinukuha na siya talaga ng BI. It's just that they're waiting lang na matapos yung participation niya sa itong hearing na to na nangyayari. sa
Kasi ano
Senate.
siya mas cooperative siya kaysa kay Alice daw eh. Although may mga things na hindi siya sinasabi at salungat sa mga testimony ng iba, but she volunteers more information freely than Alice.
But doesn't mean na free na siya to go,
No. Madami pa
She
siyang...
will be in the custody of Bureau of Immigration
may case pa siya sa BI. May case pa siya sa
marami
BI.
siyang, meron pa siya yung mga money laundering
Oo.
cases na filed against her and many others as well as kay Alice Go. Alright, let's move on to our next countdown.
On our top two, senators grilled Tony Yang, the brother of former presidential economic advisor Michael Yang. Yang said he was born in Fujian, China and does not carry a Philippine passport, but he does have a Filipino birth certificate, which his grandfather registered back in 2004. The older Yang supposedly did this to facilitate business in the Philippines.
You have profited from changing your name and your nationality dito sa iba't ibang submissions nyo. At your convenience. Talagang for convenience. Gaya ng sinabi nyo tungkol sa lolo nyo. You're only Filipino when it benefits you.
According to the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOCC, Tony is a silent but sharp operator. He allegedly runs the family's businesses, legitimate or otherwise.
Siya po yung parang nagpapatakbo ng mga businesses, ng mga Yangs.
Pati Pogo businesses.
Yes, ma'am. Pati po yung Pogo business niya. Even yung malalaking business nila na nasa Cagayan de Oro.
Aling mga malalaki po ito?
Yung Sanjan, Steel, nasa kanya po. And then yung hotel and yung rice mill, lahat po ma'am nasa pangalan niya.
Umamin siya
legitimate or
kaagad
other,
kahapon
umamin siya kaagad.
na wala siyang, Filipino birth certificate talaga. Fake pala yung kanyang Filipino birth certificate. Therefore, fake yung kanyang Filipino passport.
Kaya madami nang lalabasan na meme, di ba? Ba't gusto niyo ng charter change sa economic provisions para maka-foreign ownership daw? Ngayon, ang dami na daw mga foreign ownership dito ng mga business sa mga pogo at sa mga illegal, di ba?
Nako, totoo.
Di ba? It's a matter of enforcement of the law. Kita mo illegal or otherwise. In other words, may mga legal businesses siya dito. And we all know Michael Yang, yung brother niya, who's economic advisor ni former President Duterte and also involved in family. The family issue.
Naku, dikit-dikit yan, yung mga issue na yan. Sige, puntahan na po natin ating number one for today. Coming back to our top spot is Alice Go. Go supposedly, what's this? Supposedly, ano yan? Wala tayong copy. Okay. Tungkol yan. Supposedly revealed everything she knows in the Pogo industry in an executive session with senators. She also insisted that she is also just a victim. Here's the report.
Ikaw ba ay mastermind o willing ka ba magsabi kung talaga meron nasa likuran ng whole operation na ito?
Your Honor, hindi pa ako mastermind. Masasabi ko po, isa po akong victim.
This is what dismissed Mayor Alice Guo soared to senators as she faced them again in a hearing about illegal Pogo operations yesterday. While she thinks she is a victim, Guo insisted that she is not being used by syndicates to run Pogo operations. She also added that everyone must be aware of the real mastermind by now.
Hindi naman po siya ginamit. If ever po, kung mayroon man po ako na itulong, ano po akong tao, helpful akong tao. Kung meron man po, yun lang po. Pero sa mga activities po na ginawa or sa mga allegations po, wala po akong kinalaman. I think sa tagal po na investigation, alam na rin po ng committee po, especially chaired by our Madam Chairman, who's really at the back of everything po.
Go made a deal with senators. She will reveal the, quote, most guilty in the illegal POGO operations if they will have an executive session. The session almost did not happen when Go requested it to be scheduled on Thursday.
Don't tell us when to hold the executive session. We say, and that's what we are offering. Start now.
The senators did not publicly disclose what Go told them in the executive session. Aside from this, Go triggered some senators again during the hearing. The senators were asking Go about a certain Alexander Abrenica. He is Go's municipal administrator, but prior to this, they were business partners. When asked about his involvement with their business, this is Go's only response.
For the question po, I refuse to answer po.
I am telling you that it will not affect your pending cases before the courts. Sige na. Bakit mo siya pinagkakatiwalaan?
For the businesses po, Sen, I refuse to answer po.
Alam mo, dapat hindi Go apelyido mo, Alice Sica dapat Alice Sinungaling.
After the hearing, Go was brought back to Pasig City Jail Female Dormitory.
Now, to get more information about this, we have PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Spokes. Let's get right to it po. Do we have new information from the executive session po? And when are you going to possibly disclose it to the public?
With the executive session po, we were not part of that. Kasi ang executive session was only between Alice Go and her lawyers and the senators. Opo.
Okay. So itong information po, kasi sayang if there's any new or relevant information, sana mapakinabangan po ng PAOK. Pero in the future po, you will not be privy to anything that was talked about during the session?
I know that is, you have to defer to the Senate with regard to those matters.
Sir, kamusta naman po yung natin? What do we know so far about Alexander Abrenica?
Nasa public documents po yun. Alexander Abrenica used to be the municipal administrator of Bamban, and he was a manager for QJJ Farms. All of those naman po are in public documents po yun. So, easily verifiable po yun, no?
Yung naman po, meron na po ba tayo mga update doon po sa sinasabing supposedly mastermind behind POGO operations dito sa Pilipinas?
Well, I don't know with regards to Ms. Alice Guo, pero with regards to masterminds, there are many. Hindi naman po isang criminal organization lamang po yan. Iba't ibang POGO po yan, iba't iba ang mga head, so to speak. Siguro yung mas hinahanap ng ating mga kongresista at saka mga senador ay kung sino yung local enabler na tinatawag. Yun, medyo masalim na investigasyon po yun. Although dahan-dahan naman pong na-uncover na ng Senado at saka ng House of Representatives yung mga koneksyon.
Do we also have an update po dun sa supposed burial site in Porac, Pampanga? Porac Pogo Hub?
Negative pa po yun, ma'am, that is still being evaluate the different members of the task group are still evaluating the statements of witnesses and individuals who have supposed knowledge on those matters. Pero lahat naman po, bine-vet yung information, lahat ini-evaluate at kapag nag-pass through the vetting process, saka lang po yun na-action ng task group.
Spokes, tanong ko lang din po, nasa na po tayo doon pagdating naman po doon sa, are we still interested in sa paghahabol dito po sa supposedly father ni Alice Go, na base po kasi doon sa mga statements ni Sheila Go, ni Alice Go, yung mga directions po ay nanggagaling sa kanilang father?
Well, technically yes, but then again, those are Chinese nationals who are beyond the reach of the Philippines, given that no criminal charges have been filed against them. It would be unfair to drag the names of these persons kung wala tayong mga ebidensya na tatayo sa korte. Magiging chismis lang po yun kapag yung kwento ay hindi ho tumayo doon sa korte bilang ebidensya.
Yeah, yes, Fox, I'd like to ask, no, December is fast approaching po, and of course, alam po natin yung directive ni President Bongbong Marcos about no more pogos kahit legal po afterwards. But right now po, where are we po in terms of looking to shut down currently mga small pocket, supposedly may mga pocket pogos doon na maliliit na yung mga nagwatak-watak po from the big pogos. Ano po ang status natin doon?
Kahapon po ay nag-meeting yung Task Force Pogo Closure. Ito po ay pinangungunahan ni Secretary of Justice Boying Rimulya, tapos Vice Chair po na niyan ay si Yusek Gilbert Cruz, yung Executive Director namin po sa PAO. So pinag-usapan na po yung mga forward steps in relation to that. Kasi tama po yun, bagamat yung mga legal na mga IGL, so Internet Gaming Licenses, they're complying with the order. A good number of them have already applied for the downgrading of their visas from 9G to tourist visas. Kasi dapat malaman po ng publiko, according to the order released by the Bureau of Immigration and concurred by the Secretary of Justice, dapat by October 15, lahat po ng mga immigration visas in relation to POGOs, downgraded na po yan into tourist visa. Meaning to say, by October 16, there should be no more operational POGOs. Ang meron na lang na may iwan dapat ay mga administrative matters, so to speak. No? Yun po yung napag-usapan dun sa task force sa meeting nung dalawang magkasunod na meeting. So administrative matters na lang pong matitira niyaan.
Okay.
So as far as the legal POGOs, wala ko tayong problema dyan. They're complying and so on and so forth. Ang magiging problema po niyan ay yung mga from the get-go ay illegal po na nagkalat sa buong Pilipinas. So, yung task force naman po na binubuo ng ibang ahensya, always on the go naman pag may reports na natatanggap. So, iba't ibang agencies ang kumikilos dito, tumutulong ang PAOK, at saka importante dito, sir, ma'am, yung papel ng Department of Justice. No? DOJ IACAT is a very important partner in the fight against these POGOs. So, let's see kung we're doing our best na by December 31, tapos na lahat. Pero kung may maiwan man, yung mga illegal talaga, yung mga kriminal na mga organizations, malamang yun po ang matitira, then hindi naman po titigil ang gobyerno, habulin sila.
Yes. Spock, I remember the last time we spoke, we were talking about yung, sabi nyo, kaklaruhin nyo po sa task force, about yung actual definition po ng magiging definition ng POGO na dapat na nakasara na. Meron po tayong update kung ano yung official na ibig sabihin, ano yung POGO talaga? Kasi mayroon magsasabi na baka daw sakop daw ang BPO, may natatakot na baka yung mga ibang BPO na very similar sa kind of operations, baka madamay daw.
Meron pong draft executive order na pinalabas ang Malacanang in relation to that definition, yung nomenclature issue na yan, no? At saka yung definitional issue na yan. So inaantay na lang po namin maperma yung executive order na yun. At yun ang magiging basis, no? Kasi we are fairly confident dun nga sa meeting namin sa task force last 2 weeks ago, yung unang meeting ng task force. We are confident that this problem will have may mga peripheral issues pa ito even beyond January 1.
That's right.
Kasi yung mga criminal organizations nga na hindi agad-agad aalis ng Pilipinas. So yung EO will be a very good help in our operation moving forward to January 1, 2025.
Opo. Meron po ba tayong tinitignan ng mga malalaki pang POGO operations dito sa Pilipinas aside na kasing laki po ng operation sa Tarlac at saka sa Pampanga? Kahit hindi niyo na po sabihin sa amin kung saan.
Lagi naman po may mga reports na ganon, pero those are being validated by the different member agencies ng task group. Yung task group po kasi binubuo ng maraming ahensya po yan, no? So, yung mga DOJ agencies, attached agencies, like Immigration, NBI, and IACAT, nandyan din po yung DILG attached agencies, PNP and the like. So, they're always validating the information as they come in. Pero that's the answer to that will be in the affirmative. Meron pa pong mga ganoon, pero hindi na siguro kasi nalaki ng 10 hectares, 7 hectares, but still sizable pa rin po.
Tanungin na rin po namin kung meron po kayong any information regarding po dito sa whereabouts ni Attorney Harry Roque.
Hindi ho namin, to be honest, no, yung mga fugitive search na mga ganyan, hindi na ho namin talaga sakop ang mga yan. Until and unless lang na merong pressing concern or pressing issue na dapat ma-address namin in relation to fugitive search, ay ma-action kami. Pero as far as Harry Roque is concerned, ang kanyang problema po kasi ngayon ay legislative issue. So meron siyang hindi sinundan ay hindi pinagbigyan ng mga legislative summons. So it is between the House of Representatives, the Quadcom, and the Philippine National Police kasi ang PNP po yata ang itinalaga ng Quadcom para hanapin si Ginoong Roque.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio. Thanks for joining us today.
Maraming salamat po.
Yun.
Yun actually, going back doon sa Senate hearing na kahapon kay Alice Go, sinasabi nga ni Senator Risa Ontiveros, hindi daw pa siya satisfied doon sa sinabi ni Alice Go sa executive session nila. Although meron daw isa siyang sinabi na certain personality na parang tumutugma doon, magko-corroborate doon sa mga investigation na ginagawa nila. But sa kabuuan, hindi daw siya, kumbaga, satisfied doon sa mga binigay na impormasyon.
Kulang pa daw.
Kulang pa daw, yun ang sinasabi niya.
Alright.
Nako, mahaba bang usapin ito? At kasi supposedly, ay matatapos na yung hearing kahapon.
Pero may extension pa, di ba?
Pero dahil nga dito sa mga biglang pumayag mag-executive session. Kasi for context, for the past hearings, ayaw magpa-executive session ng Senate eh. Diba? Pero ang sinasabi ng panig nila Alice Go through her legal counsel, Attorney Stephen David, pumayag kayo, sana pumayag sila ng executive session kasi kung ito talaga ay pasa in aid of legislation, makikita nyo na, di ba, kung saan kayo po pwede pumorma tungkol sa in aid of legislation. So, meron pang isa pa. Kasi after this, abangan naman nila, dahil sinabi rin yan ni Senator Risa Ontiveros, na baka magkaroon din ng Senate session. Ay, hindi naman pala baka, magkakaroon ng Senate session tungkol naman, investigation tungkol naman kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Pero tatapusin muna nila to. Kasi dapat matatapos na talaga kahapon. Pero nga dahil, sabi nila, siguro nung dahil nakita ni Alice Go, yung selda niya, bigla siyang napa-executive session.
44 ang laman pero good for 9.
Nako.
Ayan. Anyway, thank you pala sa Second Mile Coffee for bringing these goodies and sa lahat ng branches natin. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Kakain na kami. Hindi kami nakakain sa sobrang daming
tomorrow na, since we're pressed for time, tomorrow na ako mag-iiwan ng quote. But for now, that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News, all sides, all the time.